Well, how about another win against Sandy Alcondra? Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Phillies Tatsu Media Interior Cap in tonight's game between the Phillies and the Miami Marlins as the Phillies defeat the Marlins by a final score of 2-1 as we take the first game of this three-game series. Now our 17 games above that 500 mark at 79-62. Now, guys, before we get into this video, please subscribe if you have not yet. Please turn on that notification bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. So Nick Maton delivering a 2-run home run for the Phillies in the top of the 7th inning. He is the only player this season to have at least 2 home runs against Sandy Alcondra. Think about that for a second. That is how good Sandy Alcondra has been this year. So Nick Maton has a reputation of doing quite well against some of the game's best pitchers, right? He also has pretty good numbers against Jacob deGrom of the Mets as well. So this isn't really much of a surprise. Clearly, the offense wasn't really too good tonight, I'll tell you that. But that's all we needed, right? The 2-run blast from Nick Maton, and Bailey Falter continues to be so effective. He has just been so good. As we pick up the scoring summary here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Brian De La Cruz homers on a line drive to left field that happened to just stay fair down the left field line. His 8th of the season. Luckily, it was a solo blast, and it's 1-0 Miami. So during this time, the Phillies offense has done absolutely nothing. I was getting a little bit nervous. We were going against one of the game's best in Sandy Alcondra, and there wasn't much noise. But the Phillies have had a tendency this season to come back against Sandy Alcondra later in the ball game. So I was, still crossing my fingers that would happen. So Brian De La Cruz gives the Marlins a 1-0 lead. Then we pick it up here in the top of the 7th inning. My hopes came true as Nick Maton homers on a fly ball to right center field. A 2-run blast also scores Gene Segura, Maton's 5th of the season. The Phillies now take the lead. Now a 2-1 ball game. So Nick Maton does it yet again. The topic of depth has come up so much over the last year with this Philadelphia Phillies team. And we saw a lack of depth last year. And that's something we haven't clearly seen this year. I mean, we've had so many guys come up and step up in a big way. Monya Sosa is a huge example of that. Nick Maton has been a huge example of that. Garrett Stubbs, the backup catcher, has come up big in so many different ways. So I could go on and on and on about guys you really didn't expect too much out of have really come up in a big way. So that would be your final 2-1 Philadelphia. I mean, it wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but you know the old saying, a win is a win. A win is a win. 79-62. Think about that for a second. I just can't believe how good this Phillies team has been this year, compared to, prior season. The playoffs just continue to seem more and more likely. Of course, we can't take that for granted. Kyle Schwarber out of the leadoff spot. This is one thing that I am bothered by. Despite the win tonight, I'm still not really that blown away by how good this offense has been. I'll be honest with you. Certainly it was clicking on Sunday. It was doing pretty well this weekend period against the Nationals. But as I expect, right? I mean, because the Nationals have the worst pitching staff in all baseball. But Kyle Schwarber has just been a really big disappointment since the start of the second half of the season. And Rob Thompson continues to put him in a leadoff spot. I mean, he doesn't change up the lineup when it needs to be changed up. And that's my biggest complaint with Rob Thompson. Please change up this lineup. I mean, clearly this isn't working with him in the leadoff spot right now. But yet he just keeps writing him in every single night. Kyle Schwarber, man, it's just why do you keep putting him there? I was able to draw a walk, which is, something you want out of your leadoff hitter. But he lacks speed. But honestly, I understand people's argument when they say that. But he's supposed to make up for that in other areas, right? With being an on-base machine. I don't even really care about speed out of your leadoff hitter if he's an on-base machine. Which he was at the beginning of the season, but that just hasn't been the case since the start of the second half of the season. It's been quite clear. So Kyle Schwarber with a .213 average to go on with a .792 OPS. And Rhys Hoskins, a rough hitless performance after an amazing series against the Nationals this past weekend. He strikes out 3 times tonight. And in fairness, I mean, he was going against Sandy Alcondra. But still, and Bryce Harper, the really lucky single, as he barely even made contact on that one up the third base line, and he was able to hustle it out. So he's able to get himself a single right there, and that would be his only hit of the night. He's been collecting a lot of one-hit games. I mean, he had a pretty good series against the Nationals this weekend. I wouldn't say it was like fantastic. I would say it was borderline great. Of course, he hit that home run on Saturday night off of his old, bud Eric Fetty. And he hit that RBI double on Sunday. And JT Muto, a hitless performance this evening as he strikes out twice. He didn't do anything against the Marlins last week when they are at Citizens Bank Park. And Outcome also collects a single tonight as well. And Bryson Stott gets to start at short. And he also collected a single. And Gene Segura, a 3-hit night for him. I mean, of course, he collects 3 singles. Whatever. I mean, that's cool. I mean, he's still getting on base. So I like to see that. A 289 average for Gene. And Nick Maton, only one hit was a big one. The 2-run home run to right field to get the Phillies a 2-1 lead. And eventually a 2-1 win. So how about that? Nick Maton delivers the big blow to the Marlins tonight. And Brandon Marsh collects a knockout in center. And how about that first out in the bottom of the ninth inning? Did that not scare you to death? That catch just on the warning track. He even froze when he caught it. He's like, oh my gosh. That ball was this close to going over the wall. And luckily it didn't. So I think we all could be very thankful for that. So we strike out 7 times as a team tonight, which certainly isn't bad when you're going against Sandy Alcantara. We collect 8 hits, and we only draw 1 walk, and it was from Kyle Schwarber. And Bailey Falter, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, a run was earned, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 4. I mean, underrated. Totally underrated. And not only has he been so good, but he's been so good in a time where we need him to be so good. I just love it. He got Zach Lear most likely coming back next Tuesday, which is the perfect time to have him back. And Bailey Falter continues to just be such a wonderful substitute for his spot in the rotation. I mean, he's earned himself quite a few more starts, in my opinion. How can you say he hasn't? He has been pitching against a lot of awful teams, I'll give him that. But the Marlins have had, our number in recent past, right? I mean, not this year, but certainly in 2021, 2020, 2019, the latter end of 2018 as well. So we can't shy away from that. So Bailey Falter has been super effective. I've just been so proud of what he's been able to do, and I am liking this bullpen meltdown. Now with Sandy Dominguez back, like that missing piece, I felt like, right? I mean, it was like the missing piece. Soon needs Corey Knebel, and also Brad Hand has been able to get a good amount of rest the past few days. So that's been kind of nice, a guy that really certainly needs it. So Jose Alvarado, re-signed this guy. I was thinking about that tonight. I'm like, if you would have told me maybe even 4 months ago that I would have been sitting here in September advocating for the Phillies to re-sign Jose Alvarado, I would have said, you are absolutely out of your mind. Absolutely not. But that is what I'm doing here on September 13th, 2022, at 10:07 p.m. I'm advocating for the Phillies to re-sign Jose Alvarado just simply because he has just been incredible. He's been our most reliable and effective guy coming out of the bullpen since the start of the second half of the season. Yes, I said it. Of course, I would give that one to Sandy Dominguez, but unfortunately, due to his, recent health problems over the last, month or so, I'm going to give it to Jose Alvarado, and he's just been so good. I think he's finally been able to locate his stuff. I always said that he had incredible stuff. And now he's been able to locate it and put it where he wants to, and now he's been able to really get confidence with it. So a 3.65 ERA for Alvarado and 44 1/3 innings pitched, and he really needed that wake-up call when he got sent down to Lehigh Valley. I think it kind of just smacked him in the face a little bit. He has not allowed a run his past 7 appearances, a 0.64 ERA his last 15 appearances, and over his last 30 appearances, a 1.75 ERA. A 1.75 ERA. I mean, what has gotten into this guy? He's just mowing him down. 1, 2, 3 to go. He's just been incredible. I mean, a round of applause for Jose Alvarado. We really need this when, Corey Knebel goes down, when Sandy Dominguez went down there for a little while, with, some guys really getting tired with Brad Hand, David Robertson, Connor Brogdon really losing a good amount of velocity. We're kind of worried about him too. This is a perfect time to step up. Perfect. So Jose Alvarado, bravo, my friend. And Sandy Dominguez comes in there in the bottom of the 8th inning and pitches a 1-2-3 inning, striking out 1. I'm a little bit perplexed as to why he's not yet to get a save opportunity. Of course, pitched in the top of the 8th inning Sunday against the Nats at Citizens Bank, and then he comes in here in the bottom of the 8th inning to face the Marlins. So 2 non-save opportunities. I guess maybe he's just letting him get his feet wet before he puts him back in a closing situation, which I can partly understand. And David Robertson comes in and throws a 1-2-3 bottom of the 9th inning to collect his 20th save of the season. As I mentioned, I mean, that deep fly ball at the center field, I don't know how in the world that stayed in the park, but it did. And Brandon Marsh just froze out there because he was just like in disbelief. He's like, what just happened? What just happened? He just couldn't even believe it. How close that ball was to going over the wall. But at the end of the day, it didn't go over the wall. So that would be your final. Phillies take the first game of this 3-game series against the Marlins. Of course, this is the final meeting we will have against the Marlins this season. Of course, then we go to Atlanta for 3. We go back home for the final homestand of the season. Wow, it's hard to believe we're at that point now, of course. Blue Jays for 2, Braves for 4, and then we have the Cubs, Washington Nationals, and the Houston Astros to finish out the season. Of course, our final game of the season, for those who are wondering, is Wednesday, October 5th at 4:10 p.m. Some news last night, of course, the Braves and Giants battling out. Of course, the Braves did lose that game. Gabe Kapler goes out there to take out Zach Little, and he gives him an attitude. He did not want to be taken out of the ball game. Of course, they exchanged some words, and Gabe Kapler went to the dugout steps going down into the clubhouse and waved his little finger, almost like it was like his little child, to have him come down so they could talk in the clubhouse. Well, first of all, when I see something like that, and a player gets pretty visibly upset with the manager and shows him up on the mound, that's a lack of respect for your leader, for a team's leader. And what does that look like? What does that look like when a player is undermining their manager? So it shows a lack of leadership from Gabe Kapler. That's what it shows me, at least. A lack of respect. That's just very, very strange to me. I am not a fan of Gabe Kapler, and that makes me dislike Gabe Kapler even more. Of course, Farnsini then sent him down, after the game. It's just all the drama. It's just like the Giants are a mess this season. That was just a very strange season last year when they won the NL West. That just didn't really seem like the right fit to me. And, of course, they got knocked out in the first round. Granted, it was 5 games, but still, they got knocked out in the first round. So Gabe Kapler, who knows if he's going to be brought back next year. Of course, he did win Manager of the Year last year. Of course, they have had a lot of injuries. It has had a big thing to do with it. But that just kind of looks like, when a player's trying to undermine their manager and is upset with him, clearly doesn't trust his decision-making, I'd say that that's kind of an issue. Which we saw many times in, that short time when he was our manager for 2 seasons. So I had a little opportunity to kind of criticize Gabe Kapler, and I took advantage of it because I had to say it like I see it. You know what I mean? And, it wasn't right to show up your manager on the mound, but just it's clearly a lack of confidence in the leader of your team. And you don't show up your manager like that. But clearly there's some issues going on there. So that is for sure. Of course, the Mariners and Padres are battling out currently, but as of right now, the Phillies are 2 games up over the Padres for that second wild card spot, while the Milwaukee Brewers are 75-66 as they sit 2 back from the San Diego Padres. The Brewers have certainly been playing good baseball recently. So hopefully they did not get too close to the San Diego Padres. But I don't care. I mean, if it's, Braves / Mets, Phillies, and then the Brewers, I don't care. I just want to make the playoffs. I don't care what happens to the Padres or the Brewers. I want to make the playoffs. I don't care what the other guys do. I care about what we do. So that is pretty much it. So it wasn't the most exciting win in the world, but a win is a win. We didn't lose this game, and we easily could have lost this game. It wasn't for Nick Maton hitting that 2-run home run, we would have lost this game. So 6:40 the first pitch tomorrow night, as Kyle Gibson takes them out 9-6 with a 4.57 ERA. We certainly need the offense to be there tomorrow night for obvious reasons. Cabrera 5-2 with a 2.63 ERA. So this is not going to be an easy one. So this offense needs to show up because we all know what Kyle Gibson does. He's going to give up probably 3 to 4 runs and around 5-6 innings. He's a number 5 guy. You know what I mean? So it's really not that surprising. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please share, engage the bell. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Check out the social media. Link goes to the section at Phillies Media, Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at Media. Call or text 267-225-3292. Email me Media at gmail.com. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Luke, and I'll talk to you later. Let's go Phillies. See you guys.